At one point this season, there were no adjectives to describe how bad things had gotten for the Guardians. Now, there are no words to describe how good things are going for them. The only thing that matters now is, can the Guardians stay hot long enough to get enough help to get into the playoffs?
Tanner Bibee of the Guardians, and you're listening to Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on into another episode of Locked On Guardians, your only daily podcast covering the Cleveland Guardians, the majors, the minors, the draft, and everything in between. Our favorite half hour of the day. We hope it is yours as well. I'm Justin Lada, one of your two co-hosts, celebrating 3 years here on Locked On Guardians, and with my friend and co-host Jeff Ellis. I've also spent 18 years covering the Guardians minor league farm system, providing prospect, scouting reports, and analysis.
As you mentioned, I'm Jeff Ellis. I've been here since the start of Locked On and Baseball, a marriage made in baseball
heaven.
heaven.
Of baseball ever. So
1800s. Well, I mean, since Locked On and Baseball came together. Before that, I was a national writer at Scouting 24/7, focused on prospects in the draft. I want to thank you for making today's episode your first listen today and every day, wherever you get podcasts. And I will give a shout out to Everydayer Dave Windell, who did point out I messed up. Cade Smith doesn't have a 20% blown save rate. It is a 29% blown save rate. I forgot to include yesterday's data in that role. So shout out to Dave for pointing out my mistaken math.
It went down on Wednesday.
It wasn't a save.
It went down.
No, it was.
Yes, right. It was not
a
right.
save.
It was 4 runs. I forgot it was 4 runs. Thanks to one Bo Naylor. Oh boy, do we have a lot to cover on today's show. We'll talk playoff math and scenarios. We'll talk about today's ace-off coming up, Tanner Bibee and Tarik Skubal. We'll talk about how this entire run has had to be a whole team effort. And we'll start off today's show talking about, you know what? It doesn't matter when you're good. It matters when you're hot. So we'll touch on that. Of course, today's episode brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It is time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Go to number 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today to fuel up. I don't know if caffeine is the right thing for any Guardians fan right now. There's no West Coast games. I feel like caffeine only put me on further edge. I need to stay away from caffeine because I don't need more jitters. I don't need to be out of breath any more than I already am. Maybe we should take a second on the start of the show to do some quick breathing exercises. Everybody breathe in and then breathe out. These games, man, are taking a lot out of me. It's been fun, but man, it's not often in September that I am sitting on. I mean, I know it's happened before, but not often in September am I sitting on the edge of my seat, living and dying on every pitch before October. Like, you know, you do that at the end when you're trying to close out a division or playing a close game, and all these games are close at this point, but this one has extra intensity to it because the Guardians are trying to desperately scratch and claw their way back from the depths of you-know-where this season to a playoff spot. I don't know if they're going to get the help they need, but it's got me saying, Jeff, if they get in, we can say, yes, you got to be good, but you also got to be hot at the right time. And the Guardians, they are hot at a good time. I don't know if they're hot at the right time. The only thing is they didn't get hot soon enough because, the days are running out and they're not getting a whole lot of help. But I think this, further leads to the credence that, it really, yes, the Tigers are a good team. The Guardians have not been a great team this year, all year, but they're good right now and they're hot right now. And sometimes that is what really matters when you're trying to get into a playoff spot or you're trying to take care of even the bad teams. If a bad team is hot, that's hard to do too.
I guess the counterpoint to it would be the Detroit Tigers would say, we don't agree with you because they've been a sub 500 team in the second half and are basically just riding the fact that they were the hot team in the first half. Like that, maybe in some respects, it's better to be hot early because you have more of a runway so it can last longer. Like you said, maybe Cleveland caught it too late. But yeah, I mean, Detroit is now, multiple games under 500 in the second half. We talked about, you can go back and listen to some of our May and June shows where like this whole team is rocking the highest BABIP in baseball. They've got, Zach McKinstry has like a 370 BABIP and it's now significantly lower. Like there's a lot of bits where you can see kind of how things have changed and shifted, and that's what got them to where they were today. I will say, from like my perspective, it's like yesterday's game, I was teetering on the brink the whole game for whatever reason. Today, maybe it's the cold I've been starting to come down with. Thank you, kids at school. Or maybe it's just more confidence. But it's like I didn't have any stress with Gavin Williams on the mound. Yes, he was walking a few more guys, but I mean, he was still taking care of business. He is their ace right now. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And then, too.
Yeah, I mean, he was picked. The reason he only went 5 is because the pitch count was up. Like, he didn't maybe walk as many, but it was also like a really weird umpired game. Like, we'll just kind of put that over here. But like, I will say, It wasn't as bad as Hammy made it. Like, every time Hammy would make a comment, I would go look on game day and be like, "Sorry, bud." Like, no one was.
It was bad early. I think it got better late, but early on,
there was definitely rough. I'm definitely gonna say it was a bad game, but it wasn't quite the every single pitch how it felt like when I was listening. But to get back to the main bit of it here, it's like they got the lead, and Detroit just feels like they're on their heels, like they have been in the whole second half. That's been the story of Detroit for almost 2 months now. And I got nervous when Kerry Carpenter came up, but the rest of the team I didn't. Like, when you're looking at who in the second half for the Tigers has a WRC plus, like significantly over 100, it's Kerry Carpenter, and that's it. Like, Gleyber Torres, is having the Josh Naylor year of. I mean, he's having the Stephen Kwan year of this year, where someone had a huge first half and the second half slide. Like, there's a lot of guys on that Tigers team. Parker Meadows is having a pretty strong second half in a small sample. So, and he did step up in this one, but I felt really laid back and confident. And, I would text you when I got annoyed because, I don't have too many other people that I'm reaching out to when I get annoyed in the game, and we would debate points. But overall, I thought, I don't know, this one I felt really confident in and comfortable with. And, they did what they needed to do. And, I mean, the pitching, it was a group affair, but boy, did they do their job.
They did. Yeah. I mean, credit to the Tigers. They made Gavin Williams work very hard. He got himself into some rough counts in terms of control, but his stuff was good all night for the most part. I mean, he was topping out at 99 in this one. He threw more curveballs and sleepers than fastballs, by the way. So that's a huge momentum step forward for Gavin Williams in his development and his journey to being the top starter for this team. But he, again, I said it last start too. There are times when Gavin Williams would have not had his best stuff like this in terms of control, and he'd have been gone much earlier. He has already done that this season, and once again, he found a way to get through 5 innings, and he didn't allow a run. He only allowed the 3 hits and 2 walks. Only 5 base runners in 5 innings. So you're averaging a base runner in an inning with that, which you'll take for a starter for sure. I'll take that as a reliever, honestly. Sometimes,
yeah, it's going to lead to success for anyone,
right? And he missed bats. It's just, he got a lot of guys fishing, but the Tigers made him work hard. Riley Green had a 20 pitch at bat against him. You take out Riley Green, his 2 at bats, Gavin probably could have gone at least 6, which would have been great. But the nice thing is for Cleveland, they were able to knock out Jack Flaherty after 5 innings too, because they worked 4 walks, even though one of them was intentional to Jose, which I get.
Felt like many of those were intentional, though. He ended up with 3 of those walks.
Yeah,
they all felt semi-intentional.
I think they listened to Locked On Guardians.
Yeah, they all felt semi-intentional.
Yeah, they were like, you know what? We're not going to give him the satisfaction of beating us on his birthday. But hey, you know what? Jose Ramirez ended up scoring a run, and he was on base 3 times. And Kyle Manzardo had multiple chances to break this one open. He never did until, he did get 1 hit, but he didn't really break this game open the way he really wanted.
But it was a
blooper. Yeah, and it took Bo Naylor to come through once again. We had comments saying, why is Bo Naylor hitting 5th? Well, you want to know what? It's working right now. It's one of those things. What is it? You don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Like, it's you take what you can get right now. But the Guardians knocking out Jack Flaherty in 5 innings against a bullpen that's struggling for the Tigers and that was very heavily used the day before. So now both bullpens are on even standing for coming into the final game of the series.
Significantly weaker. Cleveland has, I believe, the second best FIP or second best WAR in the second half in bullpens, and Detroit's bottom 5. And I believe the best one to go with might be to rip off the Rolling Stones and say, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need.
That would be apropos for this game. And we're going to talk about that. how this has been an entire team effort for the Guardians during this entire streak. We will talk about that next on the rest of this episode of Locked On Guardians.
Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-Hour Energy shops deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee. Let's see. On an average day, I have about 36 ounces. So I have about three average cups of coffee plus B vitamins and nutrients, so 0 sugar and 0 crashes. So I don't put sugar in my coffee, so I have that, but I don't get those B vitamins that also help provide you with energy. What I love is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get your boost when you need it. Hot or cold, well, I wouldn't recommend heating up. Let's just say, you know what a 5-hour energy shot tastes like. Unlike coffee, when it goes cold, no one likes that. So enough with boring flavors caffeine. It's time to get your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today.
Appreciate y'all being here with us as always. We just appreciate the support on Wednesday's episode. A lot of you tuned in. A lot of had good things to say, so we appreciate that. And boy, lots to tune into. But make sure you're not missing an episode. So if you hit the bell on YouTube, you will always get notified of when we have a new episode up, when we post reaction videos, when we post any news, all that kind of stuff. And of course, auto download on audio. Get it sent right to your podcast feed if you get podcasts. That is really the biggest way to help out the show. And
half interruption.
Jeff,
I was going to say 1/2 interruption while you're on that. And we're 165 from 5,000. So just to add that in, I think that's fits in with what you're talking about. So we'd really like to try to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. I know that's bold, but if anyone's not subscribed on YouTube and you like what we're talking about, or someone who might like us, just help us out.
You read my mind. That's exactly what I was going to say. Was please subscribe. No, it's fine. That's perfect. That's a great segue. It takes a team effort, Jeff. We have to read each other's minds and come through for each other when we don't have the words, and that's exactly what the Guardians have been doing this entire stretch. I mean, they have it during this entire stretch. Let's be honest. They have not really gotten a whole lot from Jose Ramirez. They have not gotten a whole lot from Stephen Kwan. It's been Kyle Manzardo. It's been Bo Naylor. It's been Gabriel Arias. It's been CJ Kafis. And, we had a little bit of Angel Martinez in this one, which you and I were texting. We were like, I would have rather seen Angel Martinez bat for Nolan Jones and not CJ Kafis, because Kafis, I think, is better against lefties than Jones. The only thing Jones does better is maybe he's more patient and will draw a walk.
And arm, I guess. I guess if you want to keep the arm in the, it's a thing where they want to put Angel in center by the end of the game, it feels like right now. So I guess that's why.
Yeah. I mean, that's not to say that Kwan and Jose have not done anything, because if you watch the game, my goodness, they don't win this game without Stephen Kwan's electric defense in left field. I mean, twice the Tigers absolutely scorched the ball into left center, and Nolan Jones was not catching those balls. When they had Nolan Jones in center in the lineup today, I was like, I don't know if I love that in Detroit. In Cleveland, it's fine. In Detroit, that makes me a little uneasy. But Stephen Kwan, some of the best range he's had all season, I think, in this game to get that out. And then Jose Ramirez made a great play late in the game too, defensively to stop a couple. I think that was when
Sabrowski was that when he was pitching.
It was Sabrowski or Junis. I can't remember what inning it was, but he made a great play with runners on to end an inning that could have easily got a run across for the.
It might have been Junis.
Tigers. I will say the last 14 days. I said Jose hasn't been doing much. Last 14 days, he does have a 151 WRC plus. So there is that.
It's very walk heavy though, I feel like.
No, he's got a 560 slug in the last 14 days.
Okay, I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's fine. I would gladly be wrong.
Yeah, actually the last 14 days it's been I don't know if I need to see if these splits are right, because I'm a little bit the last 7 days Jose has been not great. Kwan hasn't been great for a while. The last 7 days, honestly, it's been Angel Martinez, Bo Naylor, CJ Kafis, Gabriel Arias, as we said. Angel actually has the highest WRC plus the last 7 days. And he's walking more, which that's great for him. Bo Naylor, though, got that big hit the other night. He got multiple big hits in Cleveland when they were on that homestand that they only lost one game. And that's twice in this series he's had huge hits. And, like we said yesterday, if you didn't listen to yesterday's show, which I know a lot of you did, thank you. We had said that, we've seen stretches like this before from Bo Naylor. I'm not going to get tricked into thinking that, all right, Bo Naylor's finally the catcher we want him to be as a hitter. But like you said, sometimes you get what you need, not what you want. And right now I will take what we need. And what we need is Bo Naylor doing what he's doing.
One of our listeners, I wish I'd written it down so I can remember off the top of my head. It's like, well, maybe he's just an odd year September hitter. I'm like, I would love to see him be more than that. But
that is the most filtered down thing ever.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I love the thought process on that one.
Check back in September of 2027. If we're still talking about this point, I don't think he makes it to 2027.
No.
The way he's hitting, if he only can do it in September.
You gotta hope that because you're hoping that Engel will be a better hitter, and the Kosar will probably be a better defender who could maybe do similar things. So I don't think he lasts to that long if he doesn't show him.
Yeah, unless this is finally it. We're saying we're not going to believe him. Maybe this is finally it. Maybe he is doing it. I don't know. No, I'm not getting sucked down that rabbit hole again. But I'm taking whatever we can get. And Gavrilarius, again, same there. We've seen, Gavrilarius is a very similar player to Bo Naylor. We've seen really good stretches out of him. The defense is a little bit better at shortstop than Bo Naylor at catcher. Overall, I would say shortstop's a hard position to play, but catcher is much harder defensively to play than any other position on the diamond, I would argue.
Agreed.
So there is that. But Gavrilarius at times, has given you a lot. And this is a game where he had a double, but it was his base running in this game that really made the difference. And that's not something you see a lot from him. How many times over the years have we seen, he's not exactly Brian Rocchio in terms of the blunders, but we've seen Gabby make some questionable decisions out there before. And he got Jose Ramirez a birthday present in this one.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because him and Rocchio, Rocchio fails on the base paths because Rocchio thinks he's Kenny Lofton instead of that he's himself. Whereas Gabby fails on the base paths because he's. I don't know if I want to say he's trying to do too much or he's distracted. At points, Gabby feels, as someone who is ADHD, Gabby feels very ADHD to me. I feel like sometimes you just catch him zoning out, and the physical tools are there, but it's having that when they're the 1-run lead early, he gets a double, and then he realizes, third base is basically free, gets the stolen base, Kafis gets the hit, and all of a sudden, boom. Maybe that's probably the reason. Once it was a 2-run lead, I just felt good. That was the
on-hell hit.
Did I say the wrong thing? Not Kafis.
Kafis was Kafis' spot in the order, but that was on Hell's hit.
Hell's hit. You're right.
Off of Tommy Canley, who apparently is no longer immortal.
Well, if you look at his data, he's been pretty terrible this year. He's been worth almost -1 WAR, and that's what I was like, wow,
he's still trying to be Mariano Rivera.
Well, I was we're often critical of Vogt, but it's I was in that moment, I was very critical of AJ Hinch. I'm he hasn't been good this year. Statistically, he had a great first month and then fell apart. And that's a huge moment in the game with a runner on third and 2 outs. And I know their pen has just been terrible in the second half. And maybe he didn't have anyone else he trusted and could go to. But that's the thing with Tommy Canley. Gabby looked silly on the first pitch, and he's all he's going to do is throw changes. After he saw the first one, boom.
Yeah. That's I said. He's trying to be Mariano Rivera. That's all he does. He hasn't thrown another pitch all season long, has he?
Yeah, he's at 85% change, 15% four-seamer, maybe? Or is it a 2? I think it's a four-seam.
It's 15% four-seam, yeah.
Yeah, but 85% change.
He threw 72% changeups a year ago. This year, it's up 12% to 84%. That's unbelievable.
And like I said, the data is bad all around on him. In fact, this was his 61st appearance, I want to say. It stood out to me because I'm why are you doing that to your team? Why are you running out a guy who's been that in a Cleveland doesn't have a reliever that has as bad of a WAR as Tommy Canley. I don't think they have a reliever currently with as bad as a FIP. It was weird. It was just plain weird. Of all the guys to go to in that situation, I did not understand that decision at all. I
will say Tommy Canley had give up 16 runs in the month of July. His ERA in August was 4.50. His ERA coming into today's game was 2.84 in September. So, but he had walked 5 in 6 innings. So he's been better, but it's still a pretty rough decision.
Yeah, he's very up and down. It's just
yeah. All right, we'll put the bow on this one. See what I did there? See what I did? We'll put the bow on this game. We'll talk about the ace-off coming today. We'll do some playoff math, and we'll get out of here and see if the Guardians can go for the sweep on the rest of today's Locked On Guardians. Managing your bullpen, that's hard. Managing your money, that's also very hard. Most people can't name all of their financial accounts, even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, investments. I've had a lot of jobs. So I've got 401ks with a lot of different companies. I have to make phone calls to combine them, to all these things. And we know the full picture. It's very hard to know where your money's doing and what you're leaving on the table. And that is why Monarch Money is here for you and I. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. It's for people with busy lives, which we all are these days, right? Who's not busy these days? Raise your hand and then put them down, because we know you're busy. If you're organizing your finances, Monarch Money is the way for you to get that done. Link all your accounts in minutes, get data visuals, smart categorization of your spending, get in control of your money, and don't let it slip away. Use code LOCKEDONMLB and your browser at monarchmoney.com for half off your first year. 50% off your 50% off your first year at Monarch Money with code LOCKEDONMLB. All right, Squad Show will be back in your feed, by the way, on Friday. So come hang out over there. We'll be talking playoff scenarios and whether or not it's a good thing for the sport that teams can be as bad as the Guardians were and get as hot as they are now and still get in the playoffs somehow. It's fun for us, I will say. But is it good for the sport? I don't know. I think it is, but we'll touch on that more on the Squad Show on Friday. So come back for that. First, we're going to have to talk about the ace-off today. I mean, both bullpens are gassed. Like, Cade Smith will not pitch. I don't know. Will Cade Smith pitch on Thursday? Because everybody else is, Herron's definitely not pitching. I think for once, Matt Festa might not be able to pitch. Sabrowski's definitely out, and Junis is definitely out. Who are you left with? Like, you might have to go to Cade Smith for a third day in a row. And here's why. They really, obviously, both teams need their starters to go deep, and that's not a problem for Tarik Skubal. Thankfully, Tanner's coming off a complete game, so we know he can do it. But who's available for the Guardians tomorrow? It's Zach Kent, Colby Allard, Hunter Gaddis. I think Cade Smith's got to be available because
Austin Hedges, closer. Here we go.
Oh, dear God, no. Well, yes, because Austin Hedges pitches the 9th inning because the Guardians are up 10-1.
Yeah, as I say, when they're up 8 or 9, is that the rule?
That's how it's going to go off Tarik Skubal, right? Cade Smith probably has to pitch tomorrow because you have so many guys who aren't available tomorrow because they've gone now Tuesday and Wednesday.
So I didn't love him tonight. That's the one reason. I know you're like, he's already up. I'm like, you might need him tomorrow.
Everybody operates on that rule. It's like if he gets hot, you got to bring him in because it's essentially like getting him in the game anyway. So I don't know. It's very hard. But I don't care about not having Cade Smith available on Friday at Minnesota. I know you got Logan Allen going, but tomorrow to me is a game you want to win. You need to be able to beat Minnesota without Cade Smith. Like, it's Minnesota. You've been telling me how bad they are off air, that you're counting on a sweep of all the 4-game series, including a doubleheader. So I think this team has to be good enough to not stub their toe against Minnesota and not need Cade Smith. They might need Cade Smith on Thursday to finish off a sweep. And the thing is, they have to keep winning because nobody they need to lose is losing. Like, the Astros won, the Red Sox won, the Mariners lost, and technically the Astros are back in first place. So you're chasing the Mariners again, but you don't have a tiebreaker with them or the Red Sox. So the Astros are the team you want to be chasing. I guess the only good news is the Rangers are falling further and further behind at this point, but you need to start passing the teams in front of you as the days tick off the calendar. So they almost have to win on Thursday because you're just not, there's no help coming right now. You have to keep winning every single day.
The help that's coming is when Houston and Seattle face each other. That's when the help was coming. But yeah,
someone that series has to sweep.
Someone has to. Well, I mean, just gonna have someone has to lose. yeah, it's hard. It's the opposite of the National League where no one is stepping up. It's just that thing too where, you go back and I can't stop but thinking about like the dirtiness of Class A and like, Cade has struggled in that transition. It's like, if 5 more wins or even,
Didn't struggle on Wednesday.
He might not have, but of the 6 blown saves, if he's blowing nearly 30% of his save opportunities, anyone will tell you that's not good. So it's like even like 3 more of those, saves the other way. And this, then we're not quite as tight right now. It's a situation where things would just be innumerably better. And it's kind of amazing again to even be where they are. And I just keep focusing on that because it's fun. Right now it is a super fun time. Different people are stepping up. They're accomplishing a lot. They're making the Tigers sweat. They're making the Tiger fans leave early. They're, and didn't they earlier in the year? The thing I'm kind of nervous about is earlier in the year when the Tigers were the best team in baseball, didn't they take like 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 in Detroit? And then Detroit came back and got them at home. So hopefully we're not going to have a repeat of earlier this year with both teams being bad at home.
Yeah, well, the Guardians, that was way back. I'm going to have to go back and look up the schedule for that. But you're right. That did happen early in the season at Detroit. And then the Detroit came to Cleveland and swept them because that was the end of the 10-game losing streak. They lost Saturday and Sunday late. Yeah, they took 3 of 4. It was the first 4-game series of this, the first series of the year for these 2 teams. And Cleveland took the first 3 and then lost the final game against Tarik Skubal. Shocking. But yeah, they came into Cleveland and Cleveland lost 2-1, 1-0, and 7-2. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult against Tarik Skubal. And unfortunately, you get the B lineup because this team day game and also against the lefty. This team can't hit lefties. So you get Angel Martinez, which he can hit lefties, but we'll see if he can stay hot or not. But you're going to get Austin Hedges, and you're going to get John Kenzie Noel, and I'm trying to think who else will be in the game at this one. David Fry will play, so you won't have one of Manzardo and Capus won't be in there. Maybe both. I guess you could save them for pinch hitters, but it may not matter because the Tigers don't have anybody left in their bullpen to use at this point. So they
didn't repeat anyone today, did they? So they still have their whole bullpen. Herter was just called up, so he could still
Horn pitched yesterday. Well, we said yesterday Bailey Horn would not pitch on Wednesday, and he did because we thought he was gassed on Tuesday. Because Horn threw 20 pitches on Tuesday, and he threw 18 on Wednesday. So yeah, he'll be out for Thursday for sure. But
that's about it. Did it hurt? Well, maybe they used Herter the other day.
No, they didn't. You're right. It was Horn, Holton, Montero, and Vest. So Vest is available. Hey, Tommy Kahnle, I think he could pitch tomorrow. I'm just saying.
Chris Paddock as well.
Those guys are available. AJ Hinch.
Or Dickey may not be because he's only pitched a little bit coming back from surgery. So
AJ Hinch, use him. He's fine.
It might be Horn and Erdike, but Erdike, I'm probably saying his name wrong. Erdike. Those are probably the only 2. I think they've got everyone else available to them.
Yeah, Vest and Montero will be available. Herter probably available. So I guess Detroit's bullpen probably a little more available, which that doesn't really matter because they have Tarik Skubal going. So unless that side injury crops back up on him, which he says he's perfectly fine, he's 100% ready to go. So unless the Guardians find a way to knock him out early or the injury knocks him out early, the Tigers bullpen still is ready to roar. So it's going to be a tough one. So Tanner, no pressure, Tanner, but you essentially have to throw a shutout again, back-to-back complete game shutouts. No pressure. Just don't throw anything. Don't throw a fastball to Kerry Carpenter, and then don't hang a slider. Just
don't throw anything to Kerry Carpenter. Give him the Jose treatment. Go ahead.
There you go.
I know people yesterday were like, when I was like, I would have rather walked Carpenter. People were like, you don't, bring the winning run to the plate. I'm like, I disagree with that. For a long time, I was that person.
No,
but I think it you have to play the percentages. You have to play who's up next and how they're performing. Why throw to a guy who is, a great hitter when you have a poor hit? If you got to get
who was on deck?
Torres. was Gleyber Torres. Torres has been terrible in the second half. He's got an 80, I believe an 80 or an 85 WRC plus versus a 130. Talking about
he had already homered on Tuesday, though.
But all well and good. You got Kate Smith out there. Let's just give him the easier pathway.
Yeah, I agree. Let Kerry Carpenter either chase or take a walk. Yeah. Don't give him any to work with.
Yeah, because then Torres a right-handed bat, so he hit the home run off Cantillo, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And then Torkelson hit one off of Junis, who I was shocked to see Jacob Junis in there in his spot when we did. But everybody
Gaddis wasn't available, and Spencer Torkelson he's okay against a slider. He's really bad against a sweeper. He's not good with movement. So I think they specifically went to Junis for that reason. You and I have talked about him.
That was a good matchup.
He's a decent Rugi. So yeah, he hadn't pitched
Torkelson home run the other night.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing. That was the first time he pitched in a week, and now he's pitching back-to-back games. But so it's also hard to judge a guy when he's never out there. It's the same thing. Like this is the last time we saw Kobe Allard. We might,
I'm not even sure he's actually with the team. No,
sure and I don't think honestly, with as good as Detroit hits lefties, we should see him at all this weekend unless Tanner gets gobsmacked tomorrow. But I don't think that's going to happen. And
the only way you want to see Zach Kent in this game either is if they're up by a lot or unfortunately down by a lot, which I don't think they will be. The Tigers to me are pressing. I think they are a little bit. They've been struggling the whole second half, like you said, and not that I don't think they should fear the Guardians chasing them down in the division. I have to be honest. Like I know everyone's getting excited about that. I don't want to be a wet blanket, but you have to win these games no matter who you're chasing. So it doesn't really matter about which playoff spot. But as far as the division goes, like you have to sweep them next week too and beat Tarik Skubal probably twice because you're probably going to see Tarik Skubal next week too. And that's the thing not a lot of people have done over the last couple of years. And this is certainly not the offense that I would expect to do it. I mean, Lane Thomas is going to be hitting the operating table and not grabbing a bat to face Tarik Skubal. Maybe David Fry brings back some left-handed magic. I don't know. Over the last 2 weeks, David Fry has been one of their best hitters. I will say that. So we'll see what happens. But it'll be a fun game on Thursday. You're going to want to make sure you watch it or listen to it wherever you are. It is an ace-off. Tanner, 8 shutout innings. Cade Smith takes the 9th inning and finishes this thing off 1-0.
Ace off. So is he Nick Cage or John Travolta? Which one is Tanner?
Yes.
Okay.
Guardians Tigers game 3. We'll discuss that on Friday's show. We'll do some more scoreboard watching, updated playoff math every day at this point. We'll talk about the weekend rotation. John Means will not be part of it. If we have time, which got to be honest, guys, I don't know if we're going to have any time to do it, but we'll talk about Josh Hartle winning Midwest League Pitcher of the Year and a Guardians assistant general manager possibly being hired away.
Thank you for joining us. Remember to rate and review, download daily. It helps. Leave a comment, subscribe. Let's get to 5K. Thank you all for joining us. And wasn't Nick Cage's character one of them like Xander something or other? I don't know. But comment below with your face-off facts. Thank you all. And hopefully we win the ace-off. Go Guardians. Go.
Sweet.